What's going on, guys? Welcome to episode 48 of the Nintendo Tonight podcast. In today's episode, we're going to be talking about the future of Mario Kart with, Wave 6, Wave 5, and 6 of the Mario Kart 8 Booster Course Pass. And also talking about, the future of, what's going on there. And then afterwards, we got some fan questions to go over. So I think it should be a pretty fun episode.
Yeah. I agree. This is such a random side note. You know how some people are, pee shy? Like, they can't pee in public?
Yeah.
PJ, are you intro shy, bro? Do you want to do? You can rip an intro.
No, I'm just not intro shy. I'm confused. Oh, that's what you're making the reference to. I was so lost.
Not necessarily a reference. I just like bringing the two worlds together. I don't know.
Sure.
Bringing the pee shy and
Are you pee shy, Thomas?
No, I'm
sorry. I'm starting to think
shy,
he's projecting there.
Oh. I'm definitely not pee shy. I'm poop shy. I think I would
poop shy.
If I'm going to the bath. If I have to drop a big number two, I'm holding that John in until I'm where I'm comfortable. Like I would rather. I don't care if I'm pissing in a urinal in a public restroom at all. But if I have to really take a dump, then I'm going either at work or at home at college. I'm not going out to something I wouldn't want to go to some random gas station where I wouldn't care if I had to pee in a gas
I get
station.
that, but also I'm a notorious bathroom problem guy. It's just over the course of my life, so I've kind of ripped that band-aid off where any bathroom, a toilet's a toilet. But anyways, let's stop talking about bathrooms in the first 3 minutes of this episode.
I was
gonna
say
Mario Kart,
I was
guys.
almost gonna bring up the South
Our
Station.
entire female audience is gone now. They're all
the
gone.
the South Station, the South
Station
bathroom.
incident.
That was we don't need to bring that up. That's a story Matt can take to the grave.
Yeah.
We got some
That's
Mario
for the
Kart
Patreon
stuff to talk
episode.
about. Honestly, Patreon up. Before we hop into Mario Kart though, anything you guys want to bring up, or should we just jump right on into it?
I think we're good to go.
All right, beauty. So,
all right, yeah.
Sorry, Mac. You missed
No.
chance.
I can talk about how my camera and the exposure and everything's, but let's just move on. Let's move on.
Yeah, we're all good.
We don't need to talk about that. Let's talk about Mario Kart.
Rip into the Mario Kart discussion. So there's some interesting stuff here. I think there's a good 3 things we can talk about within Mario Kart. We can talk about the rest of the booster pass because there are still 2 waves left. We have 5 characters left. 5 characters.
I totally
tracks.
forgot about the characters.
Yeah, there's a lot of potential stuff that we can still get. That's the stuff we know is coming. They could add more stuff in addition to that, costumes. And so we'll talk about that. Then we're going to move right along, I think, into what we could get then later on, but still within the Mario Kart 8 Deluxe realm. There were those rumors floating around we could get another Booster Course Pass. I personally, I guess I'll save my opinion for that when we get to that point. But, another Booster Course Pass. We've talked about a Battle Course Pass because now there's 96 courses that you can race on, and I think 6 or 8 you can play in battle mode. So we'll talk about that. And then the big question, the one no one knows the answer to, and all depends on whether or not we get a Switch Pro or whatever. Will we ever get, ever in our lifetimes, a brand new Mario Kart game? I'm starting to think no, man. I was in 2014. I think I was
It's crazy.
We're coming up on 10 years now for Mario Kart.
Yeah.
Mario Kart 8 Deluxe.
Oh, wait.
Or Mario Kart 8.
It came out
2013,
2014.
2014. 14.
2014.
I believe it was
wow.
Early
14. Wow.
And so we're
that's honestly
we're almost
wild.
at 9 years, or we're probably past 9 years of the original Mario Kart
8
on the Wii U. So that's insane to me. I don't know if Nintendo has ever had a game. I don't think they have. Nintendo doesn't do live service games, anything like that. Have they ever had a game that's still around in some semblance this long later?
That they're still supporting. I feel obviously the original NES Mario Bros or whatever, they still they
we know they still support that.
They still promote it.
We know they still support that. They demoed it at PAX East. Yeah. I mean, we know.
But it's honestly just it's interesting to see Nintendo go into this more modern, way of supporting a game over time, because with most of their games even Splatoon 2, that only had a shelf life of 4 years, 3 years. How long did they support it with Splatfest?
2017 till 20. Technically, I think 20. Technically, it was 2019, but they had some at the end of 2020 for the Mario.
Oh yeah.
They brought back Splatfest for the Mario anniversary. So you could say 3 years, but still like 3 to 4 years max.
That's still the Mario Kart 8 is still 3x that. Like from 2014, we're about to like I said, I think I said this in a past episode. It literally came out like right after I left elementary school. Like
that's crazy.
That's just weird. That's just weird.
Yeah, I remember I remember the original Mario. This will like show how old it is. Like now I'm going into the back half of my life at college. I have like my own apartment as of at the end of this summer. Like I'm pretty much like not adult, but moving on like to the next stage of my life. When the original Mario Kart 8 came out, my sisters and I had a mason jar where we would put our spare change and like extra dollar bills to save up to buy the game. Wow, that's like how it transcends.
That is
like
crazy.
A generation, like for pretty much my entire not childhood, but like for the majority of my life, I think that I like remember. This has been the Mario Kart. There hasn't been like we haven't gotten like a new Mario Kart quote unquote for over almost 10 years now. Like that's insane.
Don't tell the tour people that, but
again, tour, it's not the same thing. Even if you love Mario Kart Tour, it's not. It doesn't bring the same. Because you can't even say that Tour was a new Mario Kart because it launched. It's every 2 weeks they have a new tour, but then for the 2 weeks you can only play like a handful of tracks. So when it launched, it's not like it was a brand new Mario Kart. It was you could play Mario Kart on your phone, but there's like 5 tracks you can play. You got to buy the characters. Like it's just so different that it doesn't even compare. Like it's I don't know.
Yeah, but anyways, the Booster Course Pass is honestly super cool, and like the tracks that we've gotten, like Maple Tree Way, Coconut Mall, Waluigi, Pinball, just having all these tracks in Mario Kart 8, I think it's great. Mario Kart 8 is like it's the Mario Kart that people will be playing, I think, years down the line. Like I think it's the Mario Kart Ultimate of Mario Kart. But anyways, let's talk about what we think the next few tracks are going to be, because we still got 4 new cups coming out soon.
Yep.
Yeah, 4 cups. I don't know.
I know we know a few. We know a few for a fact because of the leaks, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So I'm kind of the expert on this because I kind of went through and went and just kind of tracked out what exactly are the tracks so far, because I made a video. But anyways, we got Sunset Wilds, which was leaked on the banner like right when the game came out, I'm pretty sure.
Okay.
And then we got a bunch more. Here, let me actually pull this up on my phone. I've got a list of my notes app. It'll be just much easier than me.
Remembering. There's a bunch of them. And some of them are just to say, some of them are confirmed. Some of them are like more speculation based, and then some of them are like all but confirmed. Like we don't know 100%, but like we know that the new Athens city track from Mario Kart Tour is going to be in because every cup has had at least one city track, and we're out of city tracks after LA Labs and Vancouver Velocity. So it's like it's one of those things. So yeah, if you guys are sensitive, we're going to be talking about all sorts of speculation, Mario Kart future and whatnot, and you can't really do that without diving into the leaks and whatnot. So if you are sensitive to that, then feel free to click off. But yeah, otherwise, I think that most interesting thing for the Waves 5 and 6 is the fact that Nintendo has pretty much gone through the majority of the fan favorite courses already. We've gotten our Coconut Malls, our DK Summits. We've gotten all the like big fan favorite courses, to my knowledge, like Waluigi Pinball. A bunch of them have already come through. So I think what they're going to have to do within these final 2 like waves is they're going to have to really rely on Nitro or like Tour original tracks, like the Yoshi's Island track.
Mm-hmm. And that checks out with the prefix leak. So if you're, if you don't want spoilers, then skip ahead to the little bit. But basically,
we've gave our warning. Yeah,
exactly. Throughout the entirety of the Booster Course Pass, since the very beginning, we've had a leak of what the prefixes for each track will be. Basically, what game they come from, and it's been basically like 95% accurate, except like a couple times when they were switched between like cups within the same wave, or when a GameCube track got replaced by a Wii track, which happened to be Maple Tree Way in Wave 3. But when it comes to Waves 5 and 6, there seems to be a lot more Nitro tracks, which was not the case in the earlier cups. So, like...
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot we could pull from that. There's a rumored bathroom track for Tour that we still haven't seen. There's Piranha Plant Cove. which is a nitro track in Tour that we haven't seen. I believe there was a rumored Donkey Kong track.
Yep.
For Tour that had like assets data mined. So that's definitely what they're going to have to lean into. And in my opinion, that is so exciting for me because the Tour or the tracks that they've put in the Booster Course Pass, I think are great. But graphically, you just can't deny that like even the ones that look really good aren't like very rarely do they look up to the base kind of snuff of the original Mario Kart 8 tracks. But then with the Yoshi's Island track, I would say that looks 100% as good as all the other ones. Like the Yoshi's Island track is visually perfect in my opinion because it pretty much nails what it needed to be, which is look like the Yoshi's Island games, and it does. It's a great reference. So that's why like stuff like the Donkey Kong track or like a bathroom theme track, those excite me because they're probably coming to Tour 2 and they're probably going to do what they did with like either Sky High Sunday or Yoshi's Island where they like simultaneously release within Tour and 8 Deluxe. But because of that, they're not porting them from Tour. They're kind of developing side by side, and that means that they're going to look just a lot better. Which makes me excited.
I think it's interesting. Well, it's something interesting that I've noticed like throughout the Booster Course Pass, like especially in the first wave, it seemed like they were kind of like phoning it in like a little bit with like especially the graphical upgrades coming from Tour, whatever. These past few tracks, like look at Waluigi Stadium, like the shiny mud or whatever. It just like it looks really so much better. It looks so much better than what we got at the beginning, and it almost feels like this reignited like their passion for creating tracks in Mario Kart, and like they want to add like new nitro tracks, which I think is just like it's really cool to see. It is weird that we even got this because we all expected a new Mario Kart to happen, but I'm honestly like I'm so down with like what they're doing, like adding new characters and stuff. It's extremely cool. But when it comes to the city tracks, they still need 5 more city tracks to be added, and we've only got 3 in Tour right now that are confirmed to be like in the game. Like, are they still like? Are they still making more city tracks, or I feel like it's weird because there's like at least one in each cup, and it almost feels like too much to me. I feel like they take
PJ,
up like.
What are your thoughts on the city courses? Because like, PJ, how much Mario Kart do you play? I'm curious as
I don't play a lot of Mario Kart. The most I've played is honestly when we were in Boston, and that's about it. Like I play it like a couple times when like the new DLC stuff comes up, but past that, it's like I don't play it as much as you for sure.
Well, I'm curious then. That's why I'm curious. Like as more of like a casual Mario Kart fan, what are your thoughts on the city tracks? Because Mac and I'd say are more like hardcore Mario Kart fans, and I personally don't really like the city tracks because I think they're harder to like learn and stuff, and the geometry, like the turns are really weird. It feels like they weren't made for Mario Kart. They were made as like giant city models, and then they just happen to go, let's just make the players drive this way. But I'm curious if that translates over for someone who's like more of a casual Mario Kart fan, like who doesn't play them as much.
Like, I mean, it's like the Tour courses are definitely just like a cross-pollination moment between like obviously Mario Kart Tour and Mario Kart 8 Deluxe. I don't really like the Tour tracks, to be honest. I kind of feel the same way. It's like really confusing, some of the turns. I remember what's the most recent Tour track, because it's like there's this part where you have to go underwater and then like the turns change. Amsterdam Drift, and you literally change the turns on each lap, and it's like super confusing because you want to ingrain into your brain like where you're going and stuff, but like it's like you're going straight left or right, and it's like it kind of has you lost. So I'm definitely not a big fan of Mario Kart Tour, the game, or the Tour courses. But I mean, I can appreciate what it does for the series, but it's like, I mean, I'm not a fan. Ninja Hideaway though is great, but past that, I'm not a fan.
Well, the thing that I think is different about Ninja Hideaway, like, and the city tracks, is that Ninja Hideaway, it's got a set path. There's different like routes you can take within the whole thing, but it's not like it's changing every single lap. I think with the city tracks, like Thomas kind of brought this up, it kind of almost feels like you're playing like a GTA race, and like there's like it's got like the little blockers that come up so you don't go like the wrong way, and I always just like get like, okay, what's the? I think it's one of the new ones. I think it's either like I think it's Berlin. For some reason, I always like accidentally stop at the end of the second lap, thinking the race is over. Like it's happened multiple times to where at the point where like maybe I'm just an idiot.
Berlin is an insanely long. Berlin byways is a super long course.
Yeah,
It's brutal.
It's so the city tracks are just so odd to me.
I think tracks actually feel like a fever dream. Like it's not even Mario Kart to me. It's so strange. Like the tour courses versus the city tracks are very different. Like I don't like the city tracks, but I actually like the tour courses. Like Sky High Sunday, I feel like it's too narrow and it's kind of a mess, but like visually it looks nice. But the other like quote unquote tour courses are nice in my opinion. It's just like the city tracks are not it for me.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think the problem with the city tracks in Mario Kart Tour being ported over to Mario Kart 8 Deluxe is they switch up every single lap, but also the turns are not telegraphed or consistent or or the turns don't feel, the turns are all very odd, like just geometrically you'll be doing like insane 90-degree turns and then like very like zigzaggy, like you get just geometry and like paths that you wouldn't get in any other Mario Kart course. And the combination of that plus the fact that it's new every single lap just means like for casuals who play Mario Kart, which is the majority of people who play Mario Kart, the tour tracks are just not fun. I don't hate them as much as I'm kind of like alluding to here, but that's because I play them so much to where like I know I can memorize the layouts, I can all that because I have like 600 plus hours in the game. Like I play the game all the time. Like from a design perspective, I'm sorry, the majority of the tour tracks are just not good. And the fact that we're getting 5 of them like within the next bit. I mean, I've heard LA Labs and Vancouver Velocity are some of the better city tracks, and hopefully they translate well into 8 Deluxe, but I don't know, man. I really, really hope that's not the case, even though obviously the prefix leak hasn't really been wrong yet, and every time it's been wrong is like very explainable. So I don't think we can avoid these final tour tracks. It wouldn't make sense for them to not put them in, but it's something I'm not looking forward to for sure within the final waves.
Yeah, it weirdly kind of just feels like filler to me. Like I feel like there's definitely a lot more tracks out there that we could have gotten, like Airship Fortress or like Daisy Cruiser, even though that's like could come, but there's just like there's still a lot more of iconic tracks out there, and I feel like they're kind of just like, I don't know, throwing these city tracks in there because they're like already made and like take up a spot on the courses. But yeah,
it's weird. It's a weird situation for sure. But we could talk about things that aren't filler, and that is the characters. So the characters are like kind of even more of a fever dream than the Booster Course Pass itself. The fact that they added in characters to the Booster Course Pass, which is something that we didn't think they were going to do. We're getting 5 of them within the final 2 waves. First of all, can we all agree that there are 6 total characters spread across 3 waves? Do we think they're going to do 1 character in the first wave, which they did, and then 2 in wave 5 and 3 in wave 6? So they ended off with the most explainable characters.
That
Probably,
seems the most explainable.
Who knows if we get something else like past this? I have no idea. It's so hard.
I don't know. I think having the question marks there, like it very much seems like that's their plan, to have like 6 characters. And what I think is interesting about it is I think they're definitely all returning characters. Because when we saw Birdo, it says return. You don't think so, PJ?
I mean, I don't know. Like,
well, do you count Tor is the question then?
Yeah, I guess.
Because I think they're going to add Pauline, and Pauline
that is a good
would
point.
be a returning character from Tor. They count the Tor tracks as returning tracks. So
yeah.
I think 3 characters are definite, in my opinion. I think Pauline is definite because she's kind of like the new Rosalina of Mario, so I think Pauline is definite, and then Diddy Kong being not included in base Mario Kart 8 in the first place is so confusing. So I think he's also like definite, and then Funky Kong is like a fan favorite. Like you have to. Like I would be willing to put my entire life savings on the fact that Funky Kong will definitely be in Mario Kart 8
that
Deluxe
would be
at
the
some point.
Craziest.
Because it's like there's no way that he's not. Like I mean, come on. Like there's no way. It's a fan favorite.
There's no
You're
way.
adding so many more characters.
It's a fan favorite.
I don't know.
But I don't know. I don't know.
I
if
agree
that's
with
where
you.
Nintendo's head's at.
I know, I totally agree with you, PJ, but it's also like, it's Nintendo. Like, it's one of those things where, yeah, of course they're going to add in Funky Kong. It's a fan favorite. They're adding in new characters for the presumably last time into this game. But also, they're going to add Waluigi, a fan favorite, into the Ultimate Smash Bros. Game, right? Psych. Like, it's one of those weird, like, scenarios.
I feel like that's kind of different, I feel like. But, like, Sakurai did that as a troll, basically. Like, he hates Waluigi fans. Like, there's literally Miiverse posts. Like, if we make this into a segment, I'll show it. There's literally Miiverse posts of, like, you know, Sakurai saying, you know, you can be like a fan favorite character, but it doesn't always mean you can make it as a playable fighter kind of thing. Like, that's a huge paraphrase, but like that's always a thing. And it's like Waluigi being an assist trophy forever since Brawl has been like the biggest running meme across like the character speculation community for the longest time. And it's like I don't think Waluigi will ever be in Smash, even though he deserves to be. But I feel like that's a very specific instance in which Sakurai has had a very toxic kind of situation with Waluigi fans, and he's adding it just to basically troll them. But I mean, I don't think Mario Kart fans are as like toxic, I guess, and would like send like hate comments to Nintendo saying, you better put Funky Kong in the game or else I'm gonna. It's like, I mean, I feel like they're not that tone deaf. Like, they know. I mean, I think it's gonna happen.
Yeah, I think the biggest difference between Smash characters and Mario Kart characters is the character you play in Mario Kart doesn't matter as much. It's more visual than anything. So when it comes to adding characters, it makes sense for them to put the characters that are the most recognizable. And I think right now in 2023 Nintendo, it's, you know, they put in Birdo, which was like an obvious snuff. They should be putting in, I'd expect, Pauline. I'd expect a Donkey Kong character because we are expecting a Donkey Kong track to be coming at some point.
It's gotta be Diddy then, right?
Yeah. I feel like Diddy's more popular than Funky Kong, and I'm not sure if they'd put Funky Kong over Diddy Kong. Or they could have put in both, but at that point, are we putting in two Kongs? Like,
I could see them doing. I could see them spreading them out between both. Because what I could see is, let's say
Diddy comes Wave 5 and then Funky comes Wave 6. Like,
exactly.
I feel like Funky is probably gonna be one of the last characters. Yeah.
It makes sense if you look at the tracks. Like, if Wave 5 we have DK Mountain from Double Dash, then maybe we get Diddy Kong with that. Because, you know, Birdo was added not because of, but like in tandem with the Yoshi's Island track. Yeah. That kind of makes sense. If we get DK Mountain in Wave 5, Diddy Kong gets added along with that. And then we have the new Donkey Kong track in Wave 6. Funky Kong goes along with that. Like, it would kind of make sense for them to split them up. It would be crazy, though, if they added two characters in Wave 5 and both of them were Kongs. I would be fine with it, but it just seems like...
It seems unlikely, but
marketing perspective, it would be weird because it's like, you know, you would kind of want to add like different characters to show off like the variety of stuff you're adding. Yeah. So like adding two of characters that kind of appeal to the exact same demographic is a little odd, but I guess I don't know. It all just depends on how important Nintendo views the characters. Like, I don't really care about characters in Mario Kart at all. I just don't think it's that important compared to the tracks. So like, like whatever. Like, I'm excited, obviously, don't get me wrong, but I don't think it's like a huge draw for the boot. Like, obviously I would have bought in the booster course pass regardless of the characters. That had no impact on
but
the pass.
Would we have bought in like a character course or a character pass? I don't think I would have bought it.
I think I would have, just because I'm a big fan, but I don't know. It's one of those things where like it just depends on how Nintendo views it. Like, if they want to advertise characters as a big part of Waves 5 and 6, then it would make sense for them not to put Diddy and Funky in the same thing. Spread them out, spread out the Kongs, and it makes more sense from a marketing perspective. You get a wider like push of products to advertise. But if they don't really see it that way, then put them both in the same wave. It makes sense for them to both come at once. So it just all depends on how Nintendo views it. But that is to say, if we even get that as two Kongs, because we don't know. There's only 5 spots left. I think we can all agree Pauline's going to be one of them, even though, to be honest, Pauline's not like as recognizable as I think we think she is. Yeah. But maybe that's just me. I don't know. I don't think I went to see the Mario movie with my little cousin the other day, and he's played Odyssey, so like he knows Pauline exists, but he was pointing out like other things to me. Like he definitely like watched like an Easter eggs video on YouTube, and like he was sitting next to me. It was really cute. He was like pointing out like, oh, that's this, and then when Pauline comes up, well, I'm not gonna spoil when, but when Pauline comes up in the movie, he just like didn't point anything out. It was just kind of like, you know, he just didn't. I don't know if he didn't care, if he didn't notice or what.
Yeah.
But like, I don't think Pauline's as big of a draw outside of the core Mario fans who like it because it's like it's super cool to see this brand like old character turned into a new character sort of thing. But I don't think she has the draw outside of core Mario fans that we might think she does.
Yeah, I think that's fair. I think honestly it's one of those things where I think they'd need to like kind of grow in. She'd need to kind of grow into that character. Like, was Rosalina right off the bat outside of like once Galaxy dropped? Was she like, you know, a mainstay Mario character? I'm not really sure.
I don't think so. I think they added her into Mario Kart Wii, which was like a big thing. But I don't think she was added into the Mario sports games that came after that. I don't think she was in Mario Party 8. Like, I don't think she was instantly in all the spin-offs until the Wii U, honestly, because by that point she was in a playable character in Super Mario 3D World. She was in Mario Tennis, Ultra Smash, what obviously not a good game, but whatever. She was in Mario Party 10, I believe. By that point, she had kind of grown into it. And I don't know if Pauline is kind of growing into it because she is in Mario Golf Super Rush. She's in Mario Tennis Aces. She's both of those. She was added in post-launch, I believe. She's not in any Mario Party yet, but we've only gotten 2 of them.
We all agree that Superstars needs a DLC somewhere, and it's just not gonna get it. So I mean,
no,
that's a whole other discussion for another episode. But
yeah. I think Pauline definitely has the potential to grow into that, but she also has the potential to kind of like go into obscurity if they don't want her to be in there. But I don't expect that to happen because what we saw in the movie, even though it was just an Easter egg in that movie, I still think like, you know, I think they're trying to grow her into another like mainstay Mario character. So it would make sense for her to be in the Booster Course Pass, but also you never know. You never know.
I think she's gonna live or die on whether she's in the Booster Course Pass. Like, if Pauline is added into the Booster Course Pass, I see her becoming a Mario mainstay like Rosalina. If she's not added into the Booster Course Pass, I see her kind of fading into obscurity like all the other obscure Mario characters that we just don't really talk about anymore. I think that's huge. Like getting into a main console Mario Kart. Sorry, Mario Kart Tour fans. I know she launched with the game, but main console Mario Kart, that like adds so much legitimacy. And the fact that Nintendo added Rosalina into Mario Kart Wii and now Rosalina's a mainstay kind of speaks for itself.
Yeah, I agree with that. Okay, random Dark Horse character. We're getting a bathroom course, right? Which, you know, you'd probably be like shrunk down if you're like racing around a bathroom or whatever. Chibi Robo.
Whoa. I never think in a million years they're going to do that. I would love it. It makes sense. I don't see them ever doing that, though. I feel like if they have, like, well, realistically, do you see them doing that, Mac?
No.
I love talking about it. I do want to talk about it because that's an awesome idea. And it makes complete sense, too. But, well, I don't know if
it doesn't really make
bathtub
sense,
as a character with an electrical plug as a part of their body necessarily makes the most sense, but it like logically when you said it was like, oh yeah, that tracks.
It kind of works better for like Ribbon Road or anything, if anything, but like I don't know. Go ahead. No, I didn't have anything. I was just kind of rambling.
I was gonna say if we get any non Mario Kart character, or I guess not Mario Kart, but if we get any non Mario Universe character in the Booster Course Pass, I think it's got to be Rob, just because he was already in
that is
Mario
true.
Kart DS.
Yeah. What are the characters that have been in past Mario Kart games, not including Tour, but they could definitely come from Tour that haven't been added? I think it's Funky Kong, it's Rob
from
Paratroopa
7?
From Double Dash.
Paratroopa.
Yeah, PJ's right. Queen Bee and Wiggler were both in Mario Kart 7.
Do we see those? No, I don't see either of them coming back.
I don't see either of those. No.
Yeah, I think maybe Wiggler, but Queen Bee, there's no chance. Man.
Neither of them are even in Tour, so they don't even have a model or stuff to pull from. I think
and if we've been learning from the past, if it's not in Tour, it's very rare that it's actually going to come to this game. So
yeah,
could we get SNES Mario or SNES Donkey Kong Jr.? Because they're in Tour.
I don't hate that. I don't.
I
hate
like
that
the idea. I put it in one of my videos. I would love to
Yeah.
see it. I don't think it's gonna happen because I just feel like there's too many like 3D characters before they dip into like 2D
Yeah.
characters. But I would love to see it. I think one other character I do want to point out before we move on from the non-Nintendo from the non-Mario but
yep.
still Nintendo. My dream, I mean, you guys know this. My dream character is Captain Falcon. We have his cart in
my
the
God.
game, Nintendo.
Yeah.
We have 2 of the courses. Please let us drive as Captain Falcon in Mario Kart 8 Deluxe. It makes
I
too
feel
much
like
sense.
he's probably the last character at the bottom next to the non-Mario characters. That's what
I
I
would
think.
love that. I would love that
in
so
my
much.
opinion, I think 3 characters that are coming for sure is gonna be Pauline, Funky or Diddy, and then Captain Falcon. That's my take. I mean, I don't know what the other characters could be. I could be totally wrong on all 3, but we'll see.
I would love that. I think PD Piranha is a guaranteed. I think he's a lock
Yeah.
because they're adding in Piranha Plant
Plant
Cove.
Yeah, that's totally
from
right.
Tour,
Yeah.
and PD Piranha's in Mario Kart Tour. I think he was also, I believe, in Double Dash.
I think you're right. Yep.
I'm not 100% sure, but I believe he was in Double Dash. I think he's about as lock as it gets, like to say for 100% certain. He's kind of like the Diddy Kong of that like group of characters in my mind.
Yeah.
Like you
But
feel it's gonna be
besides that,
like
like-
Diddy and PD in like Wave 4 or Wave 5. I mean,
Yeah, I could totally see a Diddy Kong PD Piranha wave.
That actually makes a lot of sense. One Donkey Kong character, one, Piranha Plant character, and then, like, I get, that's...
Yeah, no, it
Yeah.
makes sense.
Like,
And then
that makes
that
sense
would-
for the 2.
Whoa, that would then lead. That actually makes a lot of sense because those are 2 characters that like people want to see, but it's not like they're not going to elicit like insane reactions. Like Diddy Kong should already be in the game, and PD Piranha like will be cool, but it's not super crazy.
Yeah.
That then leaves the final 3 characters for Wave 6 to be Pauline, Funky, and a Nintendo non-Mario character, either Rob, Captain Falcon, what have you.
Hopefully
That would be
Captain Falcon,
the
yeah.
craziest lineup of 3 characters to be added into Mario Kart. That would make Wave 6 a seemingly like perfect finale because we'd get Wii Rainbow Road, which has been leaked and is in tour, and then those 3 characters. That would be unreal. That would be really cool.
Yeah, that actually makes a lot of sense for the like final wave to be like, all the big names that we like haven't seen so far, because right now we really don't know like what the the track is that's going to be like the Nitro track for Wave 6. So it does seem like we're getting a Donkey Kong character in Wave 2 for Wave 5. Like that, I feel like that is the biggest lock so far, and then everything else is just what's from Tour that hasn't been brought over, what characters haven't been added, and I think Pauline makes sense. I think I still don't I'm not fully convinced they're thinking Funky Kong. Like, I would love to see Funky Kong, but I feel like that's
man.
I feel like that's
No
one of
way.
those things where like fans they've built this thing into their head, like, oh, Funky Kong's like the best character in Mario Kart Wii, he has to be added here. Like,
I don't think that's the case though. I think he has a good character design. I think people are nostalgic, and he's just a fan favorite character. I don't think it's.
I hope so. I
don't think it's a kind of thing where it's like Mario Kart Wii is broken. Hopefully, he's broken in 8 Deluxe lol. Like, I don't think that's what people are thinking. I think people just want him in the game because.
Yeah.
I mean, he's a cool dude.
Yeah.
Like,
He's
people
funky,
just want
man.
him in. He
a
be
funky
funky.
guy.
He be funky.
Yeah.
For sure.
Funky guy. Yeah. I don't know. I think that's a good point, Mac. I think a lot of times Nintendo fans, we build up these like, oh, they have to do this. This is a fan favorite, but like it's a fan favorite within the Nintendo, like within the community that we're in. But that's at the grand scheme of things, that's like a very small community compared to like the total sphere of people that will be playing this game and that they have to consider. But with that being said, I do think they know Funky Kong is kind of the fan favorite because when they added him into Tour, that was like a huge thing. He, I'm pretty sure I remember like fiscally Tour made like a ridiculous amount of money when they added him in. Yeah, because they like announced monthly earnings, or at least a while ago they did, I think.
Yeah.
I don't know. Maybe I'm just completely making that up. But when they added him into Tour, I do remember it was like a big thing. So yeah, I think they do somewhat know that Funky Kong is big. But yeah, the characters are one of those things. It's kind of like when we were talking about Tears of the Kingdom the other day. Like, it's one of those things I'm not excited for it when it just like when I think about it. It's like, oh yeah, Tears of the Kingdom is coming out. Well, now I'm excited for Tears of the Kingdom after that final amazing trailer. But like, oh yeah, we're getting new characters for Mario Kart, and then we talk about what those characters could be and like all the possibilities, and it's like, oh, this is awesome. Like I could play as Funky Kong, I could play as Pauline, I could play as Captain Falcon. Like hopefully they don't fumble and add in boring characters, because like there are boring characters in Tor. They could very well add in Paratroopa, who I think just got data mined for Tor, Monty Mole, and like characters who like, oh
Monty
great,
Mole's
like it's
cool though.
It's
don't
cool.
discount Monty Mole.
I wouldn't want one of the final 5 slots to be wasted by Monty Mole.
I was gonna say, yeah. I mean, I feel like a PD Piranha.
I want Monty Mole.
PD Piranha is fine for a Mario enemy, but I feel like if we're talking about Monty Mole,
I
don't know, man.
Yeah.
I'd
rather have Monty Mole over PD Piranha.
That is the craziest
Go play Super Mario Party.
Said.
You can play as him there.
Yeah.
Go if you're that
we did.
He has a pretty good dice block.
Mario Party.
It's pretty good dice
What was his dice block? I only played as Donkey Kong. I would either go for 0s or 10s. That was the only character
I always played as Yoshi, but my sister always went for Monty Mole. I'm pretty sure Monty Mole had like 3 4s, which is not like great.
That's not bad at all. Yeah.
I feel like that's just very consistent.
Yeah, that game was dominated by the consistent dice blocks, but it was also dominated by being a terrible game.
If the boards were good, I feel like the dice blocks, like it obviously...
It's a good idea.
I loved the dice block mechanic. I thought that was very interesting, but anyways...
Yeah. Not talking about Super Mario Party, though.
No.
Yeah, okay, so there's a lot of interesting like characters that we could get within the final 5, and there is obviously potential for them to add in more characters after that. But what I think is actually more possible in terms of additional stuff they could add in is not new characters, but new costumes. I want to get your guys' take on this, because this could be one of the things that I've built up in my head as like way more likely than it is. I genuinely think it's probably like a 50-50 shot they end up adding in new costumes to pre-existing characters within this game. Because when they added in Birdo, they added in 9 alts of Birdo. They did not have to do that. When they, before the booster course passed, the only update content-wise this game had ever gotten was a brand new costume for Link, and then, bikes that went along with that. I think Mario Kart Tour has too many genuinely, like, interestingly designed costumes for the characters to be stuck over there in mobile gacha, now not gacha, but still microtransaction land.
Yeah.
I think Nintendo will probably add some of those in to Mario Kart 8 Deluxe, but I don't know if that's just me hyping it up. I'm curious on both of your guys' thoughts on that.
It's one of those weird things that I think it'd just be like a random drop they'd add, like how they added custom items to like Mario Kart. I feel like it's definitely it's. I wouldn't say it's like something I expect to happen, but it's something that I could very well see happen. I think it would be really neat if we got costumes in there. I'm not convinced it's happening.
Yeah, I would love to see it, but I'm not convinced that it's going to happen. I don't really think at all it's going to happen. I feel like Birdo was a unique instance just because Yoshi and Birdo's like just change colors like in media, I guess. Like pretty sure in the Mario movie, like spoilers again, I guess if you haven't seen it, but like if you haven't seen it, what are you doing? Like no, really. But I'm pretty sure there's like different colored Yoshis in there. So I feel I feel like that's just kind of like an on-brand thing with Yoshi and Birdo. And I don't think because of that, I'm not personally expecting any sort of new like costume swaps or anything like that. I would just wonder how they would do that. Like, are they going to give it only to Mario? Are they going to give it like to only a couple of characters? Because like you already have like the Inkling, like, Inkling boy and Inkling girl or whatever. Like, are you just gonna add in like the Smash alts? Like, I don't know how far you go with that. I feel like also you literally have characters in the roster that could be considered as costume swaps. Like, you literally have Tanuki Mario. I'm pretty sure you have like a metal Mario and a gold Mario. You have like Peach and a pink gold Peach. And isn't there a cat Peach? Am I wrong on that?
Yep. Nope.
There's a cat. There's a cat Peach. So it's like there are literally characters in the roster that could be costume swapped, but they're just full-on characters. So I feel like I don't expect that. And I feel like Birdo and Yoshi or other characters that could apply to that are kind of a one-off. I feel like it's more likely that we just get new characters in the rest of the courses that we know of right now.
Yeah, that's a good point. Yeah. Like the fact that the characters already exist is like a big one against it. It's one of those things that like I don't think it would be weird though if they did add in some, because like Metal Mario is a costume swap for Mario. but Metal Mario himself has a costume swap, which is Gold Mario. Like, there are costume swaps for the Inklings already in the game. There's a costume swap for the Villager, I think. There's
what's interesting was Villager on the
weird.
Wii U was split. It was just one character who had both the male and female options, and then they split the character into two when it got added to 8 Deluxe. My only thing when it comes to costumes, I feel like there needs to be context. When we got the Breath of the Wild Link, it was because Breath of the Wild was, it was a new game, and they wanted.
But it wasn't though. They added that at the end of 2018.
That is true.
It was a random thing when they added the Master Cycle Zero. It wasn't in coincidence with the DLC and the Champions Ballad when the Master Cycle Zero was added. That is like the weirdest thing Mario Kart 8 Deluxe has ever gotten, in my opinion. Was a random addition of that. It made no sense in the context of.
Was there DLC coming in at that time for the game?
No.
Or was that not? Okay.
No, this was in 2018. There was no DLC, no other updates. The only updates that Mario Kart 8 Deluxe got before the Booster Course Pass was that Link thing and Labo support for their Toy-Con motorcycle. Those are the only two things that Mario Kart 8 Deluxe got, and it blows my mind that that's like a feature that like they added that in. So it's one of those things where like I think it's too on brand for Nintendo to just randomly drop. I don't necessarily think they will 100%. I'm not confirming it here or anything, but I think there's a bunch of reasons that would make sense as to why they wouldn't. Like, it doesn't make sense. There's already costume swap in the game. There's already, why would they just randomly do it now? There's no additional context. Like, all those reasons I don't necessarily think are super valid per se, because they don't really listen to reason in that like sense. Like, they kind of just like do whatever it seems with costumes.
It really is just whatever they feel like doing. Like, if they feel like putting in the extra effort, I feel like it's possible we get it, but it's also like I could see it not happening. It's one of those things where I think it would be cool if they added it, but I don't expect it. But it's also something that I could expect them doing, which is weird. Like, I don't expect it to happen, but I could expect them to do it.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
Nintendo, man, what
they're so weird.
Classic.
They're bizarre.
Speaking of Nintendo and it being a weird company, just a quick segue kind of. So we were talking about how we would get into Mario Kart 9, and we've gone on quite a bit about Mario Kart 8. Now, Nintendo, that DJ Khaled album cover where it's like suffering from success? Like, that's how Nintendo and the Mario Kart team are, because Mario Kart 8 Deluxe is the highest selling game on the Switch, yet they have probably a new console coming out or being announced like this year. And if it's not this year, I'm pretty like confident that's going to be next year. Mario Kart, one of the biggest franchises, just said it's the highest selling game on the Switch, and it was already confusing enough that they are adding all of this DLC at the end of the like original Switch's life. So what do you guys think is the future of the franchise? Like, is it Mario Kart 9? Do we get Mario Kart 8 Deluxe like, on a new Switch, and that's just like the norm? Like, what do you think is going on with the series? Because it's like in such a weird spot, but also a good spot. Like, that's why I mean the album covers suffering from success, because it's like, where do you go?
I weirdly feel like it's like a situation where they just like sell this game for at least the next 10 years. I could expect this game there's no point in them making another game if this game's still going to sell like this like forever. And if they keep adding content past the Booster Course Pass, which it's been rumored. I don't think it's likely, but I feel like if anything, we'll hear about it during Wave 5, because, I just, the little blurb at the end of it where it said 48 courses over the next 6 waves, and they cut that out in the Wave 4 trailer or Wave 4 trailer. Like, I think I weirdly feel like we're going to be playing this game a lot longer than we think we are.
Yeah, I could see it. I think it's one of those things where it entirely depends on what the next Nintendo console is. Because if there's backwards compatibility for the next Nintendo console, then I could see them waiting. But if there is backwards compatibility and there is also a big gimmick, like how the Wii U was backwards compatible with the Wii, but had the gamepad, or how the 3DS was backwards compatible with the DS, but had the 3D gimmick. If there's a big new thing that the Switch 2 has, then I think they'll make a new Mario Kart to capitalize on that.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't necessarily think that they have to. Like, they could just keep adding stuff to this game, or at least they could definitely take the core engine of this game, maybe spruce up the graphics a little bit, make new tracks, and then have that be the next Mario Kart. Like, they could pull a Call of Duty or a Madden on us and just keep almost everything the exact same, give us some new items, some new characters, some blah, 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 call it a new game, but like the driving mechanics and whatnot are pretty much the exact same thing, and have that be that. It's possible.
It's just it's a weird situation because I have literally zero clue where they go from here, because I still think Mario Kart 8, like the base courses and especially the original DLC courses, are the best looking like games Nintendo's like ever put out. Like this, like it's like if you look at like Dolphin Shoals or Big Blue, just like it's so HD like compared to any other Nintendo game like I've ever seen. And I don't know where Nintendo goes with. There's 96 courses in this game. Where are they going to give us like
that's what I mean
48 in the next one? It just it doesn't make sense for them to do anything except maybe like keep adding to this game and keep selling it.
They got the Smash
Mario
Ultimate
Kart,
dilemma.
I was gonna literally say that Mario Kart and Smash Ultimate are in the exact same class in my opinion, because it's like the games are so great and they have so much content. Where could you possibly go from here? Like it's so strange. Like I can't even fathom the fact that we're like the narrative that I'm even saying is basically how Mario Kart and Smash are in a weird spot because they are so amazing and they have so much content and they're so all-time great. Like the fact that could be considered a problem is wild, especially when you think about how poorly the Wii U did, and now like doing a complete 180, seeing like this much success is kind of wild. But yeah, I don't know. It's a weird spot somehow. I think it's just kind of interesting to think about.
Honestly, I think Nintendo already has the answer for what to do with the next Smash and the next Mario Kart. And I think we're about to see it launch within the next week and a half. Like, the original Breath of the Wild was lauded as one of the best games of all time. How do you follow that up? With Tears of the Kingdom, they took what they had with Breath of the Wild. They didn't completely rebuild it. They didn't reinvent the wheel. They just changed some core things about Breath of the Wild, improved a bunch of things, and then added a butt ton of mechanics, items, weapons, abilities on top of that, it's spaces to explore. They added a bunch on top of it, so it's like a mix between you got to change what you already have, improve what you already have, and then add on top of what you already have. And that's the way of like making a sequel in this modern era for Nintendo. And I think they're a lot more likely to do that with Mario Kart than Smash Bros. Because in order to make a new Smash Bros. With all the stuff you have, you got to go through so much licensing trouble to bring all those characters back or whatnot.
I mean, it's insane. I can't even imagine.
Yeah, it's got to be an absolute chaos. But like that would be how they would do it. Like in a dream world where the licensing wasn't an issue, bring back Smash Ultimate, rework certain characters to make their movesets more updated. Add in maybe 10 new characters, add in a subspace mode, and call it a new, like, get rid of all the Spirits World of Light, don't need that anymore. Rework some characters, add in subspace, add some new core or some stages. That would be how you make a sequel to Smash Ultimate. And I think that's kind of what they would have to do with Mario Kart 8 Deluxe. Like, they'd have to add in some new items, remove some items, slightly change up the gameplay a little bit, maybe like get rid of coins or something. They would have to do something to like make it feel different. But they could keep most of the courses, add in new courses, and then just have that, maybe add one big new mechanic, and that's it. Like
that'd be crazy to have a Mario Kart game with like 200 courses. I feel like the only way they can top it is by making it like an even bigger amount of courses. What makes Mario Kart 8 and 8 Deluxe like so good isn't the gameplay, in my opinion. And the gameplay's fine. I think it's good, but I think it's the amount of quality tracks that are in this game.
Yeah.
Like I feel like it's a similar situation to what Smash Ultimate's having to do right now, but it's also like it's different in a way that it's like I think you're kind of like spot on. I think it's one of those things where it's just like there's so much content in this game that anything less than what they have right now is going to feel like a disappointment.
which is almost impossible.
It's such a hard situation.
I think they could also take a completely different route and go like an online games as a service type approach, which would be controversial, but would solve their issue of like if the next Mario Kart maybe launched with 24 courses from the 96 we have, like the 24 of the most fan favorite courses. Maybe if they take some from the booster pass, they make the graphics better. 24 new courses. That gives us 48, which was the original amount that Mario Kart 8 Deluxe had, because 8's original plus the DLC. Yeah. And then like every month maybe for a couple of years, they added in a new cup of maybe one new course and 3 of the older courses. And like they wouldn't have to do much to the older courses, if anything at all. But just slowly rolling them out again and giving us the ability to play the older courses that we've played and loved for so long, but within the slightly tweaked driving mechanics of the new game, with the new items of the new game, with the new online modes of the new game. That would be how they would have to do it, in my opinion. Like that would be an easy way for them to kind of cheekily reuse some stuff and get it all out.
Yeah.
Here's an interesting idea. Oh no, sorry. Go ahead.
No, you go.
I was just gonna bring up, what if like this is such a crazy pipe dream idea? Maybe it's a mode, maybe it's a main mechanic into the game. Who knows? Like you guys, like let me know your opinion. But what if they brought back like the double dash mechanic of like 2 people on a cart? Like what if
I was about to say
awesome.
I feel like that would be so interesting with the anti-grav,
But I feel like it's one of those things where they need to add like a gimmick or some weird left turn where it's like we wouldn't expect them taking.
I love double dash. Like that, bring that back would be so cool. I think it would have to be a side mode.
I'm thinking if they were gonna do it, it would have to be a side mode, because that would be. I just think that's just the way to go.
Yeah, because then you just have double dash 2,
but you have a choice. More, like you would have a choice. Like
3 people.
Yeah, like let's say like there's an online mode, and you can have like the option of going into like whatever regular Mario Kart 8 would be called, and then like double dash mode, and like you could have the same thing for like single player. Also for this hypothetical new game, I don't know if this is a hot take, and correct me if I'm wrong about like the facts of this, but I believe in Mario Kart 8 Deluxe you didn't have to unlock anything, as opposed to like Mario Kart 8. Like you didn't have to do a lot of and
you didn't have to unlock any characters.
Yes. Yeah. I personally missed the whole unlocking characters.
Yeah, I
thing.
agree with that.
That's just me. I don't know. I remember Mario Kart Wii, it was super fun trying to unlock like all the characters, trying to do like the Funky Kong unlock and like, all that stuff. So I kind of miss that aspect. So I hope, say they have the same roster plus a few new other characters. I hope you can kind of bring back the unlocking mechanic back. Like not make it such a pain where you have to unlock like 1,000 characters, but like bring it back, because I personally miss it, and that would be nice for me.
What if you unlock the characters through a big Diddy Kong Racing style campaign? And that's like one of the big things they add in. That would be it. Like
that
screw
would be
mission mode, like a big campaign with like you drive up to people, you upgrade your cart, like RPG elements. Kind of, it wouldn't have to be like massive, but just similar in style to the campaign of Mario Golf Super Rush, which I haven't played, but I remember when they did trailers for it. Like you would walk around this overworld, go up to other golfers, challenge them. You could like upgrade your stuff.
Super Sluggers did it first. Yeah, I mean, I think that's probably where they got the idea from. So
yeah,
that's a good.
That would be a great idea. Actually,
that would be sick to see in Mario Kart. Like,
I feel like
if you have a double dash mechanic, you have like that story mode, quote unquote, thing that you kind of talk about, and then you also have Mario Kart 8 Deluxe with all of this content. Like, it's gonna somehow outdo this game, which is insane to even think about.
I think that's kind of what we were trying to get at when we were talking about like what Tears of the Kingdom like did as a sequel to Breath of the Wild. I feel like what they would have to do is take what makes Mario Kart 8 Deluxe so great, and that's its abundance of courses, and just add a bunch more content on there. Add the campaign, add double dash mode, add, just weird wacky modes that you wouldn't like expect. Build upon battle mode, add more battle mode courses and, mini games and stuff like that. I think that's what they need to do if they want to top Mario Kart 8 Deluxe.
I have a question. Speaking of battle mode, and this can be one of the final things we bring up because we've talked about Mario Kart for a long time.
We have to. We're gonna do fan questions next episode. In the intro, we talked about fan questions. I'm not cutting it. We are doing fan questions next episode. So enjoy.
All right.
Anyway.
Dope. And that'll give you guys more time to sauce some more questions over. But this is interesting. I'm curious to get your guys' thoughts on this. What if battle mode has a very heavy like implementation into the next Mario Kart, and certain cups have battle mode battles in them, so you could go from racing to then playing like balloon battle, and if you win balloon battle, it adds the 15 points that winning a race would. If you get second, and like that would be an interesting way for them to completely shift things up,
because that completely changes the way you play solo Mario Kart. Like having that'd actually be super interesting, because that also, like, you'd have to, when people play battle mode, they usually just play it for fun. Nobody's actually like taking it seriously. You'd be taking it seriously if it was in the middle of a Grand Prix. I think that'd be very interesting.
It also would add another layer of strategy if they do something, which I kind of assume they're gonna do for the next Mario Kart. I don't know why I think this, but I do think they're gonna add in character specific items for the next Mario Kart. It's what Tor has been doing, and obviously Tor is doing its own thing for its own predatory reasons, but I think adding in character specific Mario Kart items kind of makes sense. And that would then add a lot more strategy, because like if you pick Mario, who maybe would have like a big mushroom that makes you go super fast, that's helpful in when you're racing, but in battle that's not nearly as helpful as picking Donkey Kong, who has the giant banana, which can you can throw in and collect a lot of balloons, make a lot of people spin out that way. So that would mess with a lot of Mario Kart racing purists. But if that's how if they added that into like Grand Prix and stuff, and then also into the story mode and made battle mode a big focus there, I think that could also make the game feel a lot like a step up, even if they didn't add everything else we've been talking about.
What if you brought back those like character specific items from like Double Dash and stuff like that? That would be great. In battle mode specifically, just because it would kind of screw up the formula a bit, in my opinion. That would be great for sure. That's the way to go. Nintendo, just watch our podcast, dude.
That's all they need to do.
We're giving you the blueprint.
They just listen to what we have to say, and they've got millions in the bank. They've probably got way more than that.
Oh, they already do. But like more millions. We know they
they just got $1 billion from the Mario movie. So what are you going to do with that, Billy?
Crazy.
What are you going to do with that?
It's up to you, Nintendo. No, there's a lot of like Mario Kart. It's one of those things, to kind of sum up our conversation here, specifically talk about the next Mario Kart.
Yeah.
Whatever Nintendo does, it'll make a lot of money. There's levels to this stuff. Like if they want to just put out another Mario Kart, they can make a bunch of money. If they want to like truly have the fans and like the Mario Kart like fan base passionate and like impressed, blown away by this next Mario Kart, the way that we are blown away by the fact that there's 96 courses in this current one, then they got to take this to another level, and there are plenty of ideas for them to do that. It seems like an impossible task, but like the three of us just came up with like a plethora of ideas just now talking. It is very much possible, and it's one of those things where I can't wait to see what they do. I don't know necessarily when it's going to happen, because the timing conversation is one that we just have no clue about, but it's one of those things where once they eventually do it, we're going to be here, we're going to be covering it. We'll talk about it on this podcast, and definitely make some videos speculating about it. So there's it's very exciting. It's very very, very, I'm very optimistic about the future of Mario Kart, because they know they have to improve from what they're at right now, but how do you improve from 96 courses and a trillion characters and whatever they're doing? So
it'll be interesting to see what they do for sure, but we shall see whenever the Switch 2 or Pro gets announced what they end up doing.
I'm still hoping for the Switch 3, bro. Just skip over the Switch 2. They never do well with the sequel console. Just skip to the Switch 3.
Goat simulator style.
Yep. Exactly.
It's because they always add some weird gimmick onto it, and like the Wii was good, and then the Wii U, the DS was good, and then the 3DS started off rocky. 3DS actually recovered pretty well, but the 3DS started off very rocky. I don't know. It'll be interesting to see for sure, and make sure to stay subscribed or following Nintendo Tonight on whatever you get your podcast, whether that's YouTube or audio platforms, and we will definitely be we'll definitely let you guys know about all the Mario Kart stuff coming up. Mainly waves 5 and 6 because that's like actually coming up. But yeah, with that out of the way, anything else you guys want to say, or we just
to go.
cranked out an hour of Mario Kart discussion?
I am surprised we were able to talk about Mario Kart for that long.
I was about to say, I thought like at the half an hour mark, I was going to transition to like the fan questions, but we just kind of like,
I think that was good.
We were spitting.
That was good.
There's a lot to talk about.
I'll sign us off if you want.
Let us know. Well, I just want to let them know that they can let us know what they think about Mario Kart.
It's fine.
Down in the comments below. Anyway, tweet at us. Let us know what you think is going to happen with Mario Kart. Because like there are no wrong answers. We literally don't know. We're just kind of spitballing here, and hopefully you guys enjoyed hearing our takes and what's going to happen. But yeah, I'll let Mac sign us off. I'll let non-P shyness Mac, non-sign-off shyness Mac sign us off.
All right. Well, I'm going to go to the bathroom. Hope everybody enjoyed this podcast. If you want more bathroom talk, wait for the new bathroom course to come out in Mario Kart 8 Deluxe on Wave 6, I think.
True.
Play around as Chibi Robo. Anyways, I'll see you guys next time. Peace.